What is the most taboo topic you could possibly broach with a teenager right now? Sex, drugs, or drinking? Nope. It's college talk. That's right, the pressure is on as high school seniors everywhere wait to hear back from colleges, and the last thing they want to do is talk to you about it. Joining us to discuss is WSJ's work family columnist, Sue Shellenbarger. Hi, Sue. Great to see you.
Hi, Tanya.
So, Sue, every year the stress and pressure surrounding college admissions seems worse than the last, but it is true the competition continues to grow.
It's true. There were last year 6% more applications flowed into colleges around the country, according to the National Association for College Admission Counseling. More kids are going on to college, and more of them are sending 7 to 10 applications apiece. And so we're really seeing a boom in college applications.
And how did the teens you spoke with describe this crazy time for them?
We have to understand they've been applying, visiting campuses, making out applications, taking tests, writing essays for 2 years, and they hit the admission deadline only to start a really suspenseful period of waiting. Early decisions come December 15th, and then rolling admissions come in. Some of the regular decisions flow in over email, and some kids get put on wait lists. It's a very suspenseful, stressful time for them.
And this is where the perhaps well-meaning but nonetheless annoying, curious adults start asking them questions about it. And they say, hey, you know, it's not okay to go up to someone and ask, how much do you make or how much do you weigh? So why do you feel you can ask me how I did on the SATs, right, Sue?
It's amazing, but so many kids reported to me that adults seem to feel free to say, hey, what was your SAT score? What did you get on the ACT? It's almost like these data are public in some way in people's minds, just as where a student goes to college is public. The students don't feel this way. They really often don't want to talk about it.
No, and they don't want to reveal their first choice school either. Don't ask them that, because that's something that will make them feel like they didn't achieve what they wanted to achieve if they don't get that school, correct?
One parent likened it to admitting that you have a huge crush on somebody that isn't returning the crush. You don't know yet, and if you admit your number one school and don't wind up going there, well, guess what? Everybody knows you were rejected.
When it's tricky, because more students than ever are applying for early decision these days, isn't that right?
That's right. More students, about 10% more last year as compared to the previous year. Again, the latest data available. Students are really trying to lock down their top choice if they can early and avoid some of the suspense.
All the more reason not to ask them about it. And some teens are even getting signs and T-shirts made up. I love this.
Some teens I spoke to had held up a sign that said, I don't want to talk about college when they went to see family over the holidays. And other kids are actually putting on T-shirts that say, don't ask me about college. Thank you.
I love that. And it seems like there are some tech products that are adding to the anxiety in some places.
Yes, there are college search and selection platforms like Naviance, which is used by a lot of high school, and others that have a lot of data available about average SAT scores and GPAs of students who are applying to various schools. And so parents are becoming like odds makers. Some adults are trying to figure out what are the chances of Johnny getting into this school.
Oh, my goodness. Now, so Sue, are there good rules of thumb for those curious adults out there? Maybe you're an aunt and you feel because you're in the family, your curiosity is justified, but it's really not, is it?
Well, it's important to empathize and I think let the kid bring up college. If the high school senior feels like talking about it, ask an open-ended question like, well, how are things going? What are you up to these days? And then if college doesn't come up, help the student focus on the present. What are you doing for fun now that you're almost done with high school? How do you stay so healthy?
Right.
Or if college comes up, make it a more general question like, what are you looking forward to the most? Or how do you see yourself next year?
Right.
But stay away from the specifics.
Keep it open-ended. Now, if you're a parent of a high school senior at the end of his or her rope, what can you advise them to say to those other prying adults?
It's perfectly okay to just explain, you know what, I'm really tired after this process, Uncle Joe, and I'm just going to take time off from talking about this for a month, but I'll fill you in later.
Right.
One mother actually advised her son to dodge it like a politician and just say, oh, I don't know about that, but I'm looking forward to being somewhere on the East Coast next year. So kind of be vague and say only what you want to say.
Right. Well, I see from your story, one teen fired back by saying, well, how much do you make? That's not okay for me to ask you. Wouldn't advise that. That's a little, perhaps a little cheeky, but we can understand where that's coming from.
very edgy and maybe appropriate if someone is really being rude and intrusive in their questioning.
That's right. The sad thing here, or the hard part, is that this waiting game limbo for a lot of these students can drag on into August. Isn't that right?
Yeah, there was a rise of 16% in waitlist offers to students in the last admission season compared with the previous year, and I'm sure waitlist offers are up this year. Colleges are trying to ensure that they have enough students to fill the seats in the fall, and it's more difficult for them to predict who will accept their acceptances. And so more kids are winding up on wait lists, which is very tough for them. They really may not find out until August. It's a real waiting game.
That is really, really tough. Well, we wish all of those seniors the best of luck. We remember those years too, right, Sue?
All too well.
All too well. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Tanya.